What's up, boys? Welcome back to Anime the podcast where we take you down the elephant run fun and have a look at everything it has to offer. As always, I'm your host, Notorious. Once again, today is Shaun.
We're really keeping this?
Yeah.
That's my opening quote.
And Melina.
What are we doing?
On today's episode, things are getting real in Lupin the Third, the live-action movie directed by Ryuhei Kitamura, written by Mataichiro Yamamoto, music by Tomoyasu Hote and Aldo Shiraku. I don't know if this is like a wrong romanization. I'm not sure if it's maybe meant to be Aldo Shiraku. Because I've never seen the name Shiraku, but who knows, could be a real name.
Sorry if you're somehow listening.
It released in Japanese theaters August 30th, 2014. It is licensed in the US by Discotek and based on the manga by Monkey Punch. Then we Gotta Go Fast and Riding Bean, directed by Yasuo Hasegawa, written by Kenichi Sonoda, music by David Garfield, not that Garfield. Animation production by AIC.
The cat?
Animation production by AIC and Artmic. It released on home video in Japan February 22nd, 1989. It is licensed in the UK by MVM and in the US by Anime Igo or Animigo. I'm not sure. I've never actually had to say this name out loud. Based on the manga by Kenichi Sonoda, who later reworked the characters into his series Gunsmith Cats. So yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
What are we? Where are we? Who are we?
Sorry, I'm still trying to get the giggles out of my system.
What is this?
We're sorry, listener, you don't get to hear the preamble where we just lost our minds right before Michael cut into the intro.
I knew
love
we
when
would
he
go on
does
like
that.
several other tangents and we just didn't force us in.
Yeah, so now you're dealing with us doing the intro, but we're giggly. I watched Riding Bean first.
Same.
I also watched Riding Bean first.
Well, let's get Bean.
Let's ride the bean.
Alright, Mr. Bean, let's go.
Ew.
If it ever referred to him as Mr. Bean, I would have lost.
This is just the new reboot.
The old bit.
It's the old boot, yeah.
That existed several
No,
years
it was
before.
so cool it went back in time and became the original. That's how good it was.
Wow.
Yeah, this was something, wasn't it?
Yeah,
There were no beans.
it is an 80s OVA, that's
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
For, 50 minutes, is it?
Yeah.
There was a lot of stuff that I... Oh!
No.
If
Oh!
if Devilman was the most 80s OVA that was
Yeah.
like still interesting, this was.
This was the most 80s OVA where I went, what the fuck?
Why is the villain a pedophile?
Yeah, let's address
Yeah.
that first. Our our main antagonist is a
Pedophile.
pedophilic lesbian.
Abusive pedophilic. lesbian.
Abusive pedophilic lesbian.
I feel like,
Which has so many issues.
Yeah.
And let's add groomer to the list.
Yeah.
I think pedophilic covers it.
exactly.
Yeah, no,
That's
it's
sort-
a subsection, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just the fact that it's the late 80s, it feels like there's so much yikes
Yeah.
and icky
Yeah.
prejudices
Uh-huh.
in there.
Like when because we're talking about the girl that looks so young.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then she's like, oh, I'm in love with this woman. I'm
And
like,
Also offers to.
help him
Service.
pee.
I think she was offering to do a bit more than that.
Yeah.
But that's under the guise. And she was like, I'll hold it. Which is, what the fuck? This was after she was like, oh yeah, I am in a full relationship with older woman. I'm like, you're 12.
Yeah. I did think for like a brief moment, I was like, oh, please tell me they do the anime thing where she looks young, but like she's actually like 20 something.
Do they ever explicitly state her age?
I don't think
They
so.
they leave it sort of vague at the start, but by the end they just treat her like a kid. So I'm just assuming she's a
Yeah.
fucking 12-year-old.
I was hoping I missed the part where they're like, no, she's actually 1,000-year-old dragon girl or some shit like that.
Honestly,
Just before the credits roll, her ID card pops up.
and I want to state that's still kind of shit.
Yeah,
Usually
no,
when it happens,
just-
but like it would at least been decent
Yeah.
At
courtesy.
least in universe, we could forget
Yeah.
that. But not here.
Don't make the only lesbian character you're going to write a fucking groomer,
Yeah.
because again,
We want the representation, but not like
No.
this.
it's not. This is a prejudice. This is a character. This is literally a caricature, like a
Yeah.
fear.
Yep.
Yeah. And this is something. I mean, just opening on them trying to save us. Is she naked, the woman in the beginning? I couldn't tell. She had like the vague outline.
I wasn't
Oh.
sure if it was like a really thin see-through
Yeah.
sort of thing.
They-
It looks like she's tanned in a way where it's like, you know, those kind of
The
bunny
tan
suits
line.
type
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sort of one
I couldn't
pieces almost.
tell.
Yeah, and then it's just
I thought she was.
And then they completely like blow a guy like away with a shotgun.
Yeah, not
And
like
then
that kind. Not like that kind of blow.
yeah. But like nothing like that happens ever again.
No.
I was like, oh, is it one of these 80s OVAs, like hyper violent? And then no.
it's just so because it feels like this was like a side project from an existing thing because. You know, we have this all as a robbery. We're taking a lady,
Yeah.
and then one of us is a woman, and then big reveal: the baddies are someone else. Who? I don't know.
They keep taking masks off, and I'm like, look, you got to establish who they are first, because what?
I don't know. What this is.
So like my notes, my immediate like 4 notes, and these are all like back to back to back almost. In like the first 5 minutes was one kick-ass soundtrack because there was this soundtrack is really cool.
Do I hate that it's in English? Yes.
Oh, go ahead. But
yes, I do. And it was all written by the same guy.
Yeah, it was all
definitely.
David Garfield. Like, it's all stuff that he wrote for the movie.
Yeah.
At times it felt very out of place. Does it slap? Yes, it
Yeah.
does. But it's fucking weird.
I've seen enough 80s OVAs where they do this that, like, I'm immune to
Yeah,
that
you're like,
being a
it
thing.
means nothing
Go
to
ahead.
It's still a
Great soundtrack. Is it in English? I don't give a shit. It just slaps.
Yeah. Kick-ass soundtrack. Then right after that, immediate naked woman.
Yeah.
Because it's an 80s OVA. We gotta have a naked woman in there.
Gotta have a naked chick.
Wow. No, my note is lady is naked. Unclear.
See, I wasn't sure at first, but I just sort of assumed that she was supposed to be naked because I know the tone of these things.
Yeah, no, I was like, no, this changed it too much for me. That I picked up my laptop, went to my mom, was, is she naked? Is this lady naked? He was like, I think I can see her nipple, so I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, that's good to know.
Because they run by and I went, is that a nipple?
Yeah. I'm like, oh, come on now. I need to know because it changes how I'm viewing this. Now from the
Zoom,
start, please.
enhance.
Zoom, enhance.
But yeah, immediate naked lady. And then not long after that was, holy shit, that's a lot of blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that was in the first 5 minutes. A lot was happening.
And then blood never comes up in the movie again. Even when...
There's fake blood.
There's fake blood.
Yep.
And then there's the part where, like, Bean gets completely wrecked and there's just no blood.
He gets shot in the fucking face
Yeah.
and he's just like, fine.
He has bulletproof clothing.
Yeah.
But you didn't
including
know that
bandana.
That stretches to your face.
You
It
guys-
works. Trust me.
You guys don't
Trust me.
You guys don't have the 80s leatherproof, bulletproof leather jacket.
I wish. I wish.
Same, same. That's so real. But yeah, and then right after that was what's this Lupin disguise shit with the villains?
Yeah.
It's a lot of. Wait, the dad is the lady? Which lady? I don't know what's going on.
No, the butler guy that brings the girl to them as the
actual
lady.
little girl, but like she's the lady.
Yeah. And then there's another little girl who has the dad. Because
Who
the
was the
dad and the
lady?
woman were the dad and the little girl were both taken.
Yeah.
But Bean, he doesn't know what.
What's going on?
Yeah. Please, child, don't offer to do that. Don't
No.
offer
you
that.
you are a 12-year-old. Get back in the playpen.
Back on unsafe internet, please.
Yeah.
I really got to give the scriptwriters at least some credit for not having the
had
guy
Be
be
into it.
interested.
Yeah. The CEO dad is immediately like, God, no.
Yeah.
No.
The bar is on the fucking floor.
Yes, but I
Yeah.
appreciate
But
that he is at least
they're-
repulsed
He
by the
met it.
idea.
The important thing is he met it.
Yes. The bar's on the floor. He looked underneath. Was like, "That is disgusting. That is disgusting. We are not doing that."
John Tapper came in. He told him this was a fucking health violation.
Fucking stop.
Yeah.
I will say there's only one good point the villain ever makes in this entire OV, and
More
that is,
bad.
or less bad, and that is literally like they're talking to the CEO, and like they're just like, rich people don't get rich by being nice.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? That is the only good point you've made in this entire
Yep.
OV, and it was the only one they ever made.
Yep.
There's no such thing as ethical billionaire.
No.
No.
Tax the fuck out of them.
Yeah. There's just
We're making this episode political too.
hell yeah. this was just such a journey where they didn't bother to do any character development except for
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I mean, what can you do in 50 minutes? Like
exactly, that's why
more than this. You can do more. You can do better.
Better than this.
I would have taken Devilman again.
Yeah, I was so surprised. I was like, this has got to be part of a thing where all this is established.
No.
Welcome to 80s OVA.
They're like, it's
just
on.
not.
Let's go.
You want to know what this time frame for OVAs were? Just throwing shit at the wall.
Oh,
and seeing what happened.
100%.
Boom.
You either get some of the most artistically...
Murder.
You remember the cities.
I do. I do.
You either get some of the most artistically driven films you've ever seen that are just kind of lacking in the story department, or you get Riding Bean.
Lacking in the story department or a budget.
Yeah. Like, the animation's fine. It's just, I feel like it lacks like a creative verve behind it.
I'll say for an 80s OVA, this animation is really good. I really liked it.
Yeah.
Mainly in the chase sequences.
Yeah.
That sort of fluidity I really liked.
It was just spectacle. Did you care about it?
No.
Or was it just not cool?
Yeah, it was just cool. Like,
I was like, this is cool for an 80s OVA, but
him putting the wheels on sideways mode and pinning the guy to the tree went unnecessarily hard.
Yes.
And then they never did anything like it again. Oh, no, actually, no. He got shot multiple times and just fucking took it like a champ. So, okay, there's parts that go unnecessarily hard.
Shot square in the original Xbox logo that's on his face.
And it makes him a bit kooky. And then he gets fucking bodied by a car and that puts him back to normal.
He's fine now.
He's fine. He's got his brains back.
He's okay.
This is so unmemorable as well that I have a note and I don't know what it means.
What will tell us the note?
What does it say?
He got that dog in him.
What? That could mean anything.
Maybe right at the end when he's going psycho?
Maybe.
I think it's near the end.
Yeah.
Because it's at the bottom of the list. No.
The part where after I had spent most of the film going, this is just City Hunter and Lupin like smashed together.
Yeah, but bad.
But bad. And then like that whole end sequence happens and I went, yeah, fuck it, sure, throw in a bit of Fist in the North Star. Why not?
Yeah, why not? At this point, I don't even care.
Sure, fuck it.
I was dying because all I could think of when he got shot and just caught back was the one fucking Tom Ska animation of Russian roulette. We're like, the joke is...
Dunkirk?
The joke is he keeps getting shot, but because it's a cartoon, he just keeps getting back up, and like he's becoming more and more like a zombie, but he just keeps getting up like, no, I'm fine. Give me a gun. I got... Where am I? I love that video. That's an underrated video, I'm sorry.
I feel like if I was drunk, I would have liked this more.
Oh yeah, I feel that.
Because if I can yell at a screen while drunk and just kind of see cool stuff, I would have been okay with it a lot more.
If it were the late 80s, early 90s, and like you were watching this drunk, just like after like, I don't know, hanging out with like some like friends with like drinks or whatever.
Some remaining acid in your system.
Yeah, sure. I would have had this burned into my brain at some point, but not here.
Not now.
Not now. Not like this.
Not like
I kind of
this.
wonder what the English dub is like.
I don't think I want to know.
You know, like these 80s OVAs, like it's kind of like it can add to the experience, or it can just be like it's nothing.
Fine.
Like it's
I feel like it could make it so much worse.
That's the thing. Like it can make it either so much worse, do nothing, or it makes it like a memorable experience. Yeah,
like Devilman.
Like Devilman.
Like where they just keep going. Fuck.
Shut the fuck up.
Fuck.
I think I give a fuck.
I don't give a shit. Fuck you, Devilman.
I'm the Devilman. I'm the man that devils.
Let's not go there. Riding Bean.
Ride
the beam.
Oh, don't ride the bean.
Did they Google
Please
bean?
don't.
Did
Especially
bean?
you, pink-haired girl. Do not ride the fucking beam.
No. I don't even know what to fucking say because it just kind of happens.
Yeah.
You consume a media.
Yeah. It's also a long 50 minutes.
It feels long.
Yeah.
Which, if you have 50 minutes, you think, you can have one character kind of going through something. Or you can just be like, I want my audience to be confused throughout all of it.
Yeah.
I want them to have no grasp to this world or story at any point.
Remember that they pulled out like a fucking tank cannon gun?
Oh shit, the anti-tank gun!
Yeah,
that was just
like...
I forgot about that!
It's not even like a Barrett 50 cal. It's like a full-on, like, I'ma stop that fucking tank.
A Pat Labor would have held that.
Yeah. It just never gets brought up again.
I love that they shot that while the
child was in the car.
The little girl that they're trying to get is in the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, collateral damage.
Yeah. We don't care about. We're getting paid by the CEO. We're not getting paid by her. You can't be rich and nice.
And then they shoot it at the police too.
Yeah.
Which is like,
they're rich. Speaking of the police, I liked blonde Waluigi Zenigata.
oh yeah,
That's what I called him.
handlebar mustache man
Fair.
Blonde Waluigi Zenigata.
who drives a Shelby Cobra GT 500, which is mentioned more times than necessary within the.
Yeah.
They won't expect a Type 8 engine or whatever.
Probably V-type.
Okay.
Yeah, V8. I don't know. I can't.
Yeah,
remember.
I've got my note here. It's just in all caps. Never underestimate a V12 engine.
Yeah, I also wrote, don't talk shit about my car.
Like, that's such a specific pull.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
When they never really talk about what car Bean is driving either.
the good car.
Like, you know, they go hard on the GT 500, and then it's kind of like any other car doesn't matter. So it's like, okay, pick a struggle.
Yeah, come on. Dude.
Pick a lane.
No, no.
Stick to your lane. You're in a car.
I think it ultimately is that, like, it doesn't really know what to be.
Yeah.
It wants to be like several different things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the problem is that those several different things have been done better by other things.
Yeah. Because it feels like a very shitty pilot episode where they're
Yes.
like, I need to introduce every aspect of what this show is going to be. And I'm like, okay, don't do it like that.
Yeah.
Unless you're going to just fix it all, but I don't see how.
Yeah. What this did in roughly two episodes of TV anime runtime is what City Hunter took 4 to do, because it took the time to cook.
Yeah.
This ends up being like a City Hunter 2 two-parter. And the City Hunter 2 two-parters were not good.
Oh no.
They were just long for the sake of long and took up 2 episodes for the sake of taking up 2 episodes.
Yeah, that's not good. No.
And so that's what writing Bean ultimately ends up being like for me.
Yeah, that basically sums it up.
But look, there's just not much to talk about because not much.
It's a 15 minutes where not much happens. Like, the biggest stuff that, like, or stuff to talk about is stuff we just mentioned. It's just, it basically gives the reaction of, what?
Yeah, like, if you kind of got some little enjoyment out of this, which, like, I think we all did get some little enjoyment
like,
out of it.
I was entertained a little bit.
Like, go watch a Lupin, go watch City Hunter, go watch Fist of the North Star, like, all of these things
Do all of this
better. Yeah, it just stole elements from all of these different better properties.
I did remember actually thinking to myself, I wish I was watching Lupin right now.
Yeah.
Not this.
Yeah.
Because Lupin is just this, but better.
Yeah. I was sitting thinking, I wish we had picked another City Hunter movie, because that would have been a far better experience.
Hey, let it be known that we only picked this because of the title and the title alone.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I read the description out, and we realised his name is actually Bean Bandit.
Yeah. For the process.
Like, we thought, okay, it's probably an acronym.
Yeah.
And then the blur was just like, Bean Bandit.
Bean Bandit.
Bean Bandit.
And spoiler alert, no beans.
No.
Or Bandit. Well, I guess Bandit
Yeah,
technically,
sure.
kind of, sort of. Not
Yeah,
really.
but-
Gotta get beans and rice in here.
Exactly.
Or Bella of Autumn.
I wish at any point someone just mentioned
Big
like,
step. Sorry, Melina.
stop it.
Captain Bees, we need to get Bort on off the Bella of Autumn. Sorry.
Speak your truth.
No. No. You've stirred the sauce for too long.
Wow.
Start the boss.
Yeah, it's... Stop it, bull.
Capital Red Bee.
If there were any beans, I would have liked this movie better.
Was that all you were trying to say?
Yes!
I really don't care that I interrupted you with Big Step, but then...
Yeah.
If they acknowledge that he has a stupid name, at least, and kind of lean into, he's a stupid fucking bandit.
Yeah.
Like, Lupin type.
Yeah.
Wait.
Again, it's that City Hunter thing where, like, Rio's a dumbass, but he's also, like, a suave, cool guy.
Yeah,
and
the thing, from what I remember of City Hunter, I actually liked him.
Yeah,
as a character.
exactly.
I wanted to see, I would have been okay seeing more of him.
Yeah.
Legitimately, actually. I remember thinking I wanted to watch Lupin instead, and I also remember right after seeing this, I was like, I wonder if I can get Michael to send me like City Hunter stuff now, because I want to watch that instead.
I do need to like prep some of the movies, because I think we could. There's like 6 or 7 other ones we could watch for.
I'm looking
For the
forward to that.
podcast,
I want
so-
more. I want more of Giant Hammer Girl.
Yeah.
She's my favorite.
The TV series could be fun to do, but like it's all episodic and it's like 50, 60
Yeah.
episodes a
Yeah, they're
season, so
long.
that's a bit
It's a bit much.
yeah.
Well, let's just score this and move on. 'cause we're
Yeah,
not gonna
I
talk about
really
it
have
'cause it's-
nothing else to add other than I'd be interested in watching Gunsmith Cats, like because it's more about well, she's not Raleigh in that.
No, well,
So she's called Irene.
No, okay.
Irene Vincent. So Raleigh Vincent, his partner in this, was reworked into the main character of Gunsmith Cats, called Irene Vincent, which is a different series. Bean's still in it, but I think, like you mentioned, he sort of moves between protagonist
Yeah.
and antagonist.
Which makes more sense because
Yeah.
he seems a lot more of a sort of neutral
Yeah.
alignment to give it a D&D term. Like he doesn't give a fuck about anything other than, I don't know, he's not an arsehole to kids.
Yeah.
Just like, you know, bar on the
bar on the floor.
on the fucking floor. But like, I don't care enough about him for him to be a protagonist. I did care a lot more about Raleigh.
He doesn't show up in the OVA adaptation though.
Oh.
So
I don't care.
Yeah, not a loss.
Yeah, not a loss.
Not a loss at all.
So maybe we'll watch that
Maybe.
at some point
We'll
soon. I
see.
think a friend of mine has it. Because the Blu-ray was only like a Kickstarter thing, so like it's not really available right now. So I need to check amongst my friends. I'm sure someone has it.
Sure. Hey.
I legitimately mean I think one of my friends has it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I that might be interesting. But riding
This
Bean
ain't it.
itself was
Absolutely.
absolutely not. Go fuck yourself.
I like how I sent that image to you once, and now it's part of your vocab.
it hit, man.
Anyway,
Score
scores.
What did I score it? I actually can't remember now.
I think right after I watched it, I was like, this could like at most go up to 7, but having now,
What?
no, just out of pure how many times I was laughing at it, but like
Yeah.
actually thinking of and talking about it for more than 5 seconds, I can't give this more than like a 4.
I rate it a 7 because like like you said, like how many times you actually like laugh at it.
Yeah, but that, I don't think it's
I
trying
wasn't
that.
laughing with it in the sense that its comedy was making me laugh. I was laughing at
Yeah.
it.
Make it be known.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The moment he came back from the fucking headshot, I just fucking lost
Yeah.
all shit.
So on like a personal level, a 7. On a like actual critical level, yeah, like a 4.
Yeah, I'm at a 3.5.
Yeah.
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 Hell yeah, brother.
Oh.
Hell yeah, brother.
I wish we had a camera so that could have been seen. That was so
That was so
cringe.
awkward. I love it.
Anyway.
So now to the thing that we want to talk about.
Yes, yeah.
But oh wait, I can't make that.
Oh
No,
wait, no, yeah,
no.
They
Shush.
legally
allowed.
distinct version.
The vibe's there.
The vibes
Oh,
there.
the vibe
yes.
is that
Yeah.
we get a sting.
I just wish they didn't tease the actual theme as
Yeah.
much as they did. That's my only problem with the soundtrack. It's
But-
great.
but,
Yeah, it really emulates Yuji Ono's music from the anime stuff a lot, but the main theme is like legally distinct, which makes me believe they probably couldn't license it. As
Yeah, it
music.
feels like they could have if they could have, they would have.
Yeah.
but they
Yeah,
didn't.
absolutely.
Yep. Where do
Where
we
does-
even start?
This is something I very rarely feel when starting a film. When you start and you're like giddy with excitement.
Yeah, I felt that.
Like, I was talking to Shaun about it earlier and was like, it kind of felt like watching the 2012 Avengers movie.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Where you're like, oh my god, it's all
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get it.
Oh my god, they're all
When you followed all these characters and now they're coming together,
Yeah.
and we are not immune to. It's something I like.
I really wanted to feel that way, but I think just knowing like how live action adaptations can go, I was a
Yeah,
bit more
hesitant.
reserved and a bit more
Yeah.
hesitant. Though everything I've seen prior to actually watching it looked good. Yeah, so
I mean, you start kind of, in the robbery, which classic Lupin, you start with a
Yeah.
mission, so to say.
Uh-huh.
That immediately has a darker tone to
Yeah.
it, less
Yeah.
lighthearted. So I think it sets you up well for, hey, it's this, but we recognize that we're not doing it the way
Yeah.
they do it.
Because it's not an anime anymore.
Uh-huh.
No.
I feel like if you're gonna do a live action adaptation, there's gonna inherently be even just like a tiny bit more grounded
yeah.
than an animation, and I expected that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And to sort of go off on what you had heard about with or experience with live action
Yeah.
adaptations, I went into this with lower expectations
Yeah.
than what I usually have for Lupin. Which again, Lupin, not too much, but I was like, okay, live action adaptation. I'm not expecting it to be good, and I think that really helped me really enjoy it for what it is, because I vibe with this.
Yeah.
I vibe with this
enjoyed
as much
it.
as normal Lupin.
Yeah. I like it's an origin story, so you have to kind of take that into account, which I do think is the best choice for them to have made.
Yeah, for a live action, for sure.
Yeah. Is it a bit wonky? And they're just like, and here's Pierre.
Who the fuck?
Oh, okay, we're gonna get immediately into then. Pierre, and then later Joseph, who's just there for like 2 or 3 scenes.
Who's clearly a comedian in Japan. And they just put it there.
Yeah.
He was one of the co-writers as well, I think.
I don't know.
I was, you just see it and you're like, that would have been Will fucking Ferrell or some
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Probably the worst decisions of this entire movie that fundamentally undo the Lupin dynamic.
Yeah.
A little bit for me, where like I said this to Shaun as I was watching it, and then immediately after is like Lupin, Fujiko, Jigen, Goemon can all just do the shit that they need to do.
Yeah.
And we never question it.
No, of course.
Exactly.
So why do they suddenly have guys in the chair?
Yeah.
That they really don't need.
They
They're
don't
there
need
to bring up holograms
Yes.
and
Yeah.
overly explain elements.
They're there to bring up holograms and have Goemon ascend to another plane of existence.
just for Lupin and Michael to run down a corridor.
Yeah.
It's gonna be weird talking about the villain for this
Yeah,
one, isn't it?
I call
Isn't
him
it
Mike.
Michael?
I call him Mike.
Go for that's
Yeah,
better.
we'll call him Mike.
Yeah,
Good old Mike.
good old Mike.
Good old-
Very Japanese man.
Good old Mike Mine. Except that's not his last name.
No.
No, just look, the whole thing with my uncle Lupin. I think you're adopted because these are 2 white men.
Yeah.
I took it he's just from that side of the family.
Yeah.
Well, I think like even at the start of the movie, like Dawson kind of establishes that like he had the privilege of calling Arsène Lupin like his. I think Lupin's granddad, not his actual dad. Like family.
Yeah.
But like not in a like legit
Yeah.
familial sense, like just
It's
in
a
a
found family.
found
Exactly.
family. So that makes sense. Fujiko and Mike, on the other hand,
What?
what?
That,
Just randomly comes up like halfway through the film that they're brother and sister, and then it turns out no, they're not.
Near the end.
Oh yeah, you're right. It's
Near
like
the
right
end.
before he turns back
They're
on
like,
the.
Yeah, no, I don't think I'm his sister, but you know, he needed something.
Yeah.
I was just like.
Because I messaged
to make
Shaun
him feel better.
watching that end scene where they're like standing around the car. Classic Lupin thing. where,
Yeah.
like,
Classic, beautiful.
the Fiat's there and everything. I was so happy.
She's on the motorcycle.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
I was
Zenigata's
clapping.
about to come down
Yeah,
on them.
Now I can do the
But yeah, like during that scene where she's like, where Lupin's like, you weren't really his sister. I messaged Shaun and went, when the fuck?
When the fuck did this happen? To which I had to go. It was in the middle of the movie.
He was like, there's a whole scene, and I was like, what?
Where?
Imagine me just sort of whispering. You're like, it's in the middle of the movie.
Where?
When
See,
Lupin-
after he's like made the deal in the
Oh,
cube,
in the cube.
yeah, in
Yeah.
the cube.
the
Which-
cube.
I talked to Shaun about. We could have cut.
Yeah,
They
no,
could have.
they
They could have
didn't-
met on a fucking rooftop,
the-
roiled the bitch.
the fact
just
that they
handed
don't
the
go
guy the
through
thing.
with the heist at that point makes that whole sequence pointless.
It is a set piece
100%.
that has no fucking reason to be
Yeah.
here. It's just
Imagine, like you brought up, imagine being in that audience when they cannot hear what's going on. in
why
that
would
cube.
you pay for a ticket for this?
I want to see it. I want to see the thing.
I want to see the people make a deal, but you can't hear them. Yeah, but they're
It's
in
very
cubes.
exclusive.
But they're in cubes.
Very exclusive.
But right after that, Fujiko goes and talks to Mike,
Yeah.
and there's like a whole thing about like Dawson killed their dad,
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
our
that-
father.
Yeah.
our father. That's it.
And you
yeah.
can see, even in the scene, I think Fujiko's like, okay, we're going with this.
Yeah.
I'll just go ahead.
Sure.
And it's not played like a reveal.
Uh-huh.
No.
I'm not surprised. Like
Yeah, no.
you guys forgot about it or just missed it
I'll
completely.
fully admit during that
Missed
scene,
it.
like that whole kind of like near the end of the cube sequence
Yeah.
for a little bit.
You zoned out.
I was ordering things on my phone. I was fully on the Crunchyroll store, like, oh, there's a sale.
Wow,
Let me just order some
that's so
stuff.
professional for something you're supposed to
professional.
talk about like the next
Yeah.
day.
Look, I was like, there is nothing interesting happening right now.
I mean, it is. The movie's too long. I think we all agree.
Oh,
yes,
absolutely.
100%.
Yeah.
Why 2 hours?
Yeah. No, it doesn't need to be. And I think if we just cut that cube bit, I think we would have been.
Yeah, Lupin
Fine,
films are
maybe.
like horror, where unless you can really justify it, 90 minutes is your
It's-
like
it's the sweet
max.
spot.
Yeah.
I love that quote. Sorry, Lupin films are like horror.
You never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes there's just too many rape jokes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's an actual horror.
Yeah, which I like to say, I love how they handled Fujiko.
Yes.
In this movie.
This is somehow one of the best versions we've
Uh-huh.
gotten.
The best, heavily probably inspired Black Widow-ist.
Yeah.
But I'm here for it. No sexualization. Lupin is still fucking
I mean,
into
There's
it.
a little bit.
There's a little bit.
Yeah.
The bathtub scene, the cat
but-
fight.
Oh, the
If-
bathtub scene was so unnecessary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole feet shot, like, what the
Yeah.
fuck?
Hello,
Agreed.
Quentin Tarantino.
Yes.
He did one shot.
Yeah, that one
and
shot.
then the sitting up near the end.
Oh,
Yeah,
come on.
oh,
That is classic Fujiko. though.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
we have to try and figure out what is classic Fujiko and what is needless fan service.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
the two are
Feet,
very blurry.
needless fan service.
I like the sit up and the tasteful side move.
Yes.
Yeah. See, wasn't that a thing in the
we
in
had
the
a whole
Hitler Lupin?
conversation. That doesn't narrow it down.
Shit, it doesn't.
Say
When
it
he
again.
pretends to be Hitler.
Oh, the first.
Yeah, the first. That's the
Which
one.
is funny because I'm gonna bring up the first
Yeah,
later.
yeah, of course.
Okay.
But I'm gonna steal a quote from you.
Oh, okay.
The sky is blue, water is wet, Fujiko Mine is hot.
No. My exact quote was when you mentioned, you just said to me, Fujiko's hot. And
Yeah.
I was- and in a way, my tone was, yeah, and the sky's blue. What's new? But like the way I did it was, the sky is blue, water is wet, and Fujiko Mine makes my heart swoon.
That's it. Thank you. I couldn't remember the last part, but yeah. Oh,
No,
I mean, look at her.
yeah.
I really liked how they handled their dynamic. It is
Oh,
it is
it's
harder
so-
to come across
Yeah.
in live action.
There is. It's the scene where like he shows up in her
Yeah.
room again. I was immediately like, that's just their dynamic.
Yeah.
Like,
And they're
that-
like dance.
The dance fight. I love
It-
the dance fight.
It
It's a bit
perfectly
awkward,
captures
but-
the like back and forth they have
Yeah.
without going too far.
It manages to thread the needle of not making it creepy,
Uh-huh.
because sometimes it's an easy trap to fall in with, like not just Fujiko and Lupin, but this kind of dynamic
Yeah.
as well, and
Absolutely.
any stuff that where you can. It's supposed to be playful. He's supposed to be a bit of a dick, but like, or bashful, but like, and she's supposed to be, sort of playful with it,
Yeah.
but also sort of like stay the fuck away.
Yeah.
And like, it's supposed to come off as fun and endearing, and like they balance each other out,
Yeah.
but it can very easily fall into, oh, he's just a creep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's just an overly touchy creep.
It's a fine line between playful and predatory.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So-
And I think it's done so well,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
I didn't
Yeah.
expect that.
No,
in
just
this movie.
like you could tell in every scene they had together, she could leave if she wanted to,
Yeah.
and he
Yeah.
wouldn't do shit.
She had
You'd
the
be
power,
yeah,
like
she-
really.
She had the upper hand in every interaction
Yes.
they had.
They both had the power, but like if one like doesn't consent, then like the whole thing falls apart.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Like if she just said no, he'd be like, but this is okay.
Well,
Yeah.
Lupin he'd be like,
Uh-huh.
okay,
Yeah. Neat. Yeah.
maybe
yeah.
like a dickhead smile, but he'd still
Yeah.
back off.
Yeah. And like, do I wish we had kind of the moment where they met? Maybe
Yeah.
because that's
Oh,
already
well.
established
Uh-huh.
like
Yeah.
beforehand.
that's just been going on.
Because
forever.
they're in Zawaks.
The
Zawaks.
Works, run by a
Zawaks.
British man. So it's a front for the store that we have here in the UK
Yes.
called
Yeah.
The Works.
The Works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you don't know? That's just
Yeah.
and that's just
There's
open
like
They
this
sell
secret.
cheap
Japanese
books.
crime ring.
Open secret over here. Where do you think they get those books?
Yeah, those
This
cheap
is
books.
for
like-
legally. I have to say this is a joke.
This is a joke.
Yeah, they should have just googled The Works and it would have
Yeah.
popped up. But
Japan.
it's fine. It's fine. Every
They
time
they didn't know.
every time it comes up, I'm like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, whatever.
And
It's a dumb
Yeah.
name. I'm gonna be real.
Yeah.
100%.
For your thief network, that is a stupid
Yeah.
fucking name.
What's the other one they mention? There's like, because there's Zark, the Works.
Parmuk or something? No.
That's
That's
his
the name.
name.
Yeah.
It's a dumb fucking name, but
His name is Primark.
yeah.
There's one guy who name's Royal.
Yes. Uh-huh.
The names, it's something. It's just the whole movie where I think fan service is done well.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, this is a Lupin film for Lupin fans. I
Yeah,
think.
100%.
I said this to you a little bit when I was talking about how I feel like as a movie by itself, it's not
great.
It's not great. It's maybe passable.
Yeah.
But like as a Lupin fan, this is great. I love this.
Absolutely.
I would happily see a sequel.
Yeah.
Because I think the character design, the casting is done with such like respect.
Yes.
And such an ode to the originals, like the costuming. Poor fucking Lupin actor in fucking leather pants.
Yeah, I
velvet
love
blazer,
that. The attention to detail on
the
his.
silk jacket.
Yeah.
I was like, man.
I also
that's
love that they
beautiful.
like dynamically change between several different like
Yeah,
ties and
exactly.
stuff. Because like
You get like the black tie, you get the gold tie.
yeah,
The Elvis suit.
I love the Elvis.
the Elvis suit's so funny.
Gotta love the Elvis suit.
And then they give
Yeah.
him the green jacket at the end.
Yeah.
That's such a nice little touch of like a transition to
And
like
they
a
can
different.
they can do it in a live action movie because it's more, it feels more like he's changing clothes because it's a
Yeah.
different day, which you don't really do in animation. Every character has one outfit.
Yeah,
For like a season.
because like typically the jackets define like a part of Lupin. So like the TV seasons
Yes.
are typically divided in like called parts.
Yeah.
So part 1 is red jacket, though Miyazaki also then brought in the green jacket for Cagliostro for some fucking
It's not clear
reason.
cut.
Yeah.
It's a bit messy sometimes.
Part 2 is the green jacket, I believe. Part 3 is the pink jacket, also sometimes known as the zany era for some reason, because it was the 80s, I guess.
He's
It
pink.
was zany.
Part 4 is blue. I can't remember what part 5 is.
I kind of wish we had gotten the blue jacket.
Yeah.
Really. That would have been cool.
I
to
think
see.
in the velvet material,
Yeah.
it might not translate. very well.
Yeah,
I guess.
I think it's a harder one to do in that material for
Yeah.
sure. Pink would have been cool.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like
It
him-
would have clashed.
Yeah.
They should have done it in like the cube scene. Maybe.
Yes.
Yeah. And he's in disguise.
Yeah.
And Jigen, just the second we see him pop up at the top of the staircase,
Yeah.
you know it's him. And I was fucking
My-
living for it.
Only thing with Jigen is that this is gonna sound so nitpicky. I think the hat's a little wrong.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
they could have done better with the hat.
I think I thought about it as well. I was like, it's close, but it's not fully there.
Yeah.
It would have looked comical
Yeah.
if the brim was slightly
I do
bigger.
get it,
Yeah.
yeah, because the it pretty much serves in the anime just to cover his eyes.
Yeah.
as a
Which you
character
can't do in
design.
live action.
Yeah.
I mean, I made the joke to both of you actually, where I was like, the movie did not bend space time
Yeah.
constantly to ensure we never see his eyes in every single at every angle. What was the fucking point?
I think it's just the thing that bugs me about the hat is that rather than like the way it does it in the character design for like the anime stuff is that like it curves down
Yeah.
for the eyes part, and instead it's like inverted here where like the
Yeah.
eyes, like the part above his forehead curves up, and so the sides are like tilted down, which just looks a little weird to
It
me at
does.
times.
You accidentally wore it backwards the whole movie.
Yeah, it's so strange.
Yeah, but I think good decision because if you give an actor a role and you don't let them show eyes,
Yeah.
it is.
That's
it's
a
just
good
not gonna
chunk
be
of
a good character.
That's a good chunk of like just body acting
Yeah.
that just goes away, which
Yeah.
it's an understandable thing that you
Yeah.
can't do in live action, which is why I'm not actually bothered at all.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I
Yeah.
do like that some shots that does start out with him like his eyes
Yeah.
covered
Yeah.
and stuff, and that is a thing that he's known for. So it makes
Mm-hmm.
sense. I will say
It's patchy ass beard, love it.
Yeah.
Oh
fucking
yeah,
here
the
for
fucking stitch on beard.
Stick on beard. Like, no, this makes so much
Yeah.
sense.
I like to headcanon that this version of him can't actually grow a beard, so that is just diegetically a stick-on beard that no
Yeah,
one
yeah.
questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, don't. Like, he's insecure about it. Please, please don't mention it, please.
He seems to really care about it. I feel bad if I just like point it
Yeah.
out. Let's just not.
Yeah.
I will say, this is still related to Jigen. I was a little worried right at the start of the movie because I thought for like a little second Mike might have been this movie's Jigen.
Yeah.
Same.
There's like 2 extra characters at the start. One of them gets fucking killed off during the big raid
Yeah.
of the works. But like they're in like
That works.
the museum where they're trying to steal the coin. There's like
The medal.
yeah, there's Pierre who somehow survives the entire movie, and then there's the
Wish he
other guy
hadn't.
who
Ninja
gets
guy.
killed off during like the
Something.
Yeah.
the raid guy. He's got blonde iced tips. No wonder
Yeah.
he got fucking killed off.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, it's not the 2000s anymore.
Yeah. Plus, there's another guy, not Royal, not Saber.
Crazy Kai.
crazy guy,
Knife guy.
knife guy.
Is he the guy with the mohawk?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The guy on the highway that goes, I love that guy.
that scene ripped straight from Matrix Reloaded.
Oh yeah, big time. I love that entire sequence.
Yeah.
The Goemon
car.
part where he
Yes.
cuts like
Yeah.
the highway, he lands on the car and he says the line.
Yes.
I was literally saying, say the line Goemon, say the line Goemon. Once again, I've cut another worthless object. Yeah.
And he sits on the car.
I know.
Sits on the
He
car.
sits-
Like
on the
Mr.
car.
Bean himself.
Yep.
Yep.
Back to that.
Beautiful.
My the scene is sometimes unnecessarily comical when it's meant to be tense because
Yeah, true.
anytime there are external shots of those cars, they are not driving at speed. Very clearly, they do
Absolutely
not have a
not.
stunt team driving at speed. This also ties into a larger part of the movie that I'm not too keen on, and that's that night scenes and indoor scenes are incredible. They look stunning. Daylight shots are fucking horrendous.
They look very cheap.
Yes.
Yeah.
They are either overexposed and look like they've just been cranked down in post, or they are not white balanced correctly, which is the entire problem with the highway chase scene. But I don't know if that's also them just maybe straight up mimicking the Matrix's green tint.
I feel like
It could be.
for
Yeah.
I feel like what they might have been going for was to try and get the colors of the anime or like the manga, but like
Yeah.
it doesn't really work.
It looks real weird because
Because it
their
just looks
teeth look really off in those scenes. Like it makes them stand out like too much. And then other times like the color grading of day shots is just awful.
Yeah, it's not great.
no.
It's one of those things I feel like they could have just like turned back a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still like that whole sequence though.
No, that sequence is great. It's just like, unfortunately, it's also endemic of some of the problems. with the
Yeah,
movie,
yeah.
As fun as the whole sequence itself is.
Now that I remembered, speaking of Goemon, just mentioning him there, were you guys also scared that he wasn't going to appear
Yes.
for a while?
Yes.
I knew going into it that he was in the movie because obviously I had to prep this and
Yeah,
check
yeah.
through it for you guys. So I knew he was in it. But if I had not known that, there's a solid half of this movie that I would have been like,
Takes 50 minutes.
yeah.
Because I mean, I knew Jigen shows up pretty like recently,
Yeah.
and like when he showed up, I was like, okay, cool, we got Jigen.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's here. I
So
mean, he stands
it's
in
not
the,
just Lupin and Fujiko.
He stands in the back for a while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like, come on.
He's not really a
Sure.
really
Until
Table.
they kill off another guy, like,
You replace. You can only have so many
Yeah.
Yeah,
characters.
but
I'll
like we get a shot of him where he's like very clear this is Jigen,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's like okay, cool, there he is. He
here.
exists in
Yeah.
this universe. But the half of the movie where Goemon doesn't appear, but Pierre is there
yeah.
in all their
Yeah.
ensemble scenes, and I'm like, oh
Don't tell
no.
me.
I was terrified of like, oh, did they think he was too wacky a character for a live action
Yeah.
movie? Oh god, please don't tell me they replaced him with whoever the fuck Pierre is. And then suddenly it cuts to
We're in a temple.
we're in a temple
We're going to Japan.
in Japan, and I was like, oh, here he is.
Yeah.
We gotta. He mentioned a sword. There he is, and then Goemon appears, and he's like literally from the
Yeah.
from page to screen.
Yeah. The casting is so good in this movie because I seen him and went, that's just fucking Goemon, man.
They got him.
Yeah.
They got him.
They got the guy.
Goemon's introduction is somehow far more natural than like Jigen's introduction to the group
Yeah,
because they for some reason contrive a reason for Jigen to partner with Lupin.
Yeah.
I agree. Like, you seem cool. You want to join?
Well, no, it's like it's over revenge,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which it just doesn't really. I don't think
It
you
doesn't
needed
vibe.
that.
And it's
No.
barely a theme that comes up in the movie.
Yeah, I feel like they forget the fact that they're looking for revenge for most of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause, I mean, the guy that they're looking for just is off grid and they can't find
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, so
I'm
they
like,
just
so
do
you've just
thieves.
been chilling.
Yeah.
They just do
Just been
thief stuff.
chilling.
Skips a year. They
Yeah.
do the Cagliostro opening sequence. They
Which
fuck
it was
around.
so fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
To see them running
Uh-huh.
and just with the cash flowing
Yeah.
behind.
Yeah,
Oh.
getting into the Fiat, which again, yeah,
Yeah.
when it
My
popped up.
notes are just go car.
Car!
Which is weird. The Fiat we see, I think for like a solid half of the movie, is like a 70s Fiat.
Yeah.
And then at the end, it's suddenly like a 2007 or 2014
Yeah,
model.
it looked very clean.
It's too
Yeah.
new. It's like modern for the time. And I was like,
Oh,
oh.
did he upgrade?
Yeah, like, okay.
He got a good trade in value. So
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Cool.
Yeah.
Good for him. Wish I could get that.
I like that the credits, like the the stylized section. They're actually there's a part where they're driving the original like Mercedes
I noticed.
from
yeah.
part 1.
Aw.
Because I was like, I wonder if they'll put that in the movie at some point as like a little nod. But equally, I understand because that car sticks out a little too much.
And it's not
Yeah.
as, I mean, the Fiat does as well, but the Fiat's iconic.
Yeah.
It
Oh
is
yeah.
iconic.
It's
Uh-huh.
I can't believe he keeps coming up. It's like the Mr. Bean mini.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why does he keep coming up?
I
today?
don't know.
Well, when you have a movie called Writing Beans.
Yeah. Do I have any other? I brought up my review from Letterboxd because it has some things in it that I wanted to mention. I think I've brought. Why am I holding the iPad this close?
yeah,
Your
go-
iPad kidding it right
Get your
now.
glasses, man.
I think I brought up most of it. I mentioned like how the film looks. You know,
Yeah.
day
Yeah.
and night shots. The legally distinct soundtrack.
Yeah.
I do think the story takes itself just a bit too seriously.
Yeah,
Yeah, in
I
places.
agree, but I think unfortunately for the background for these characters, we almost need it because otherwise,
Yeah.
where are the stakes?
Yeah.
I think that only is an issue because there is no sequels.
Because
Because I think they could have gone zanier in follow-ups.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
agreed. 100%.
And maybe removed Pierre and Joseph for
we
the
don't
love
need
of
them.
God.
We don't need them.
Nobody gives a fuck about them.
No, they're here, and like, is Pierre like a famous? Is Pierre a famous actor in Japan or something?
Yeah, because why the fuck is he here?
he has so
Also,
much screen time.
I
Why are
have
you
to
even
complain
here?
about the actress that's always on the side of like the big baddie. That she holds the suitcase.
Oh, Miss V.
Oh,
yeah. I don't think she's a good actress in
No.
any
No.
way
No,
whatsoever.
I think this
that
is.
I was like, she had to just be someone's daughter.
I guess we got to bring up the fact that like half of this movie is in English
Yeah.
right now because we haven't mentioned this so far.
I originally
yeah.
was gonna watch this all in like Japanese because that was the default.
Yeah.
But then I saw that the option is original multi-language,
Yeah.
and I was like, well, that's the original. I guess I gotta watch
had
that.
no idea how to title that at first because I just pulled the disc into my PC and hadn't really checked like the actual disc of my Blu-ray player yet, and I saw half of the movies in English and like half in Japanese and was like,
Ooh.
what do I title that so you guys know that this is
Yeah.
the original version? Because I can't call it Japanese because there's also a Japanese dub.
Yeah. I feel like original multi-language got the message across.
Yeah, that's what
yeah,
it's
yeah.
called on the disc itself. So I was like, yeah, thank you,
That's
thank
good.
God. But yeah, like half of the movie's in English, and
Yeah.
it's a mixed bag.
Yeah.
Some people
Again,
can
they
talk
try.
English well. That's not a sentence. Some
Says
people,
you.
Some people can speak English good. I know one of them.
some of the characters are clear. Some of the actors are clearly multilingual.
Yes.
Tadanobu Asano, who plays Zenigata, is probably like the best in the whole movie.
Also, his casting.
Oh, fantastic!
Fuck yeah.
He's also in Shogun, and like as soon as I seen him, I was like, he is the perfect casting for Zenigata. Yeah, no, I literally had that because I was like, he played such like an incredibly like threatening dumbass in Shogun that he is perfect for
Yeah.
Zenigata because I know he's gonna get the right level of like. Idiocy, but also like unbridled frustration and rage.
The moment he walked in, like when he's first introduced, and I saw the quote, I did the he. But I like
Yeah.
also like when they treat him just seriously
Yeah.
enough. We're like, okay, he's not a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the whole thing- he has like actual weight behind him as a
Uh-huh.
character.
He has authority. I mean, this is before everyone's like, you're never gonna fucking catch him.
Well,
I don't
this
know what you
this is
keep-
the forging of that.
Yeah.
Like, it was so weird to see a version of Zenigata try and make a deal with Lupin
Yeah.
and like use him, but then I realized like, oh, this is just gonna lead into the arch nemesis,
Yeah.
like ness of it all. And then when it's after the cube
The cube.
and like the heist doesn't happen, he's like, what the hell? I thought you were gonna do this thing. He's just sitting on the floor in frustration.
Yep.
And then when that conversation's over, he's like, Lupin! I was bouncing up and down.
Yeah. But like he's the only one who solidly speaks English. Fujiko a little bit better
Yeah.
than the others, but like everyone else, some characters are straight up for certain lines ADR'd in later.
Yeah.
The fire talk.
Yeah, and also like one scene where they all meet in the hideout again, where like Mike comes back, and
After he
I'm
was
one
betrayed,
thinking,
yeah.
you all speak Japanese. You all are Japanese, like according to this movie.
According to the lore.
According
Yeah.
to the lore in this
Yeah.
movie, why are you all speaking English right now?
Yeah.
But yeah, like
Yeah.
there's certain parts where like Shaun O'Grady, who plays Lupin's dubbed over, like I think just by Shaun O'Grady later, but like what he says, I don't know if he said it in Japanese and then it was ADR'd in English, but it doesn't always
It
match.
doesn't- yeah,
It's
no, I
really
noticed that as
weird.
well. Yeah.
I
I wanted to bring that up because I was like, was it just me or was it like my laptop?
No,
acting
I
up?
think
No,
it's
no,
sometimes.
no.
I think the character it happens to the most is Jigen. I think that
Yeah.
anytime he speaks English, there's a 50-50 on if it's like ADR'd.
Yeah.
But
that makes sense for Jigen.
yeah, but then all the characters who just speak English, for the most part, like Primark,
Let's just call Primark. For
yeah,
the
let's
sake
call
of-
and
Primark.
Miss V. The line delivery is
It's not there.
But
no.
that's impossible. It is locked digitally as well.
digitally and manually.
It almost gives off like Power Ranger stiltedness.
Yeah.
I just every time she showed up, same expression on her
Yeah.
face, and I was like, "Can you give me anything? I need something."
I
my girl."
yeah.
I think I described her in my head at one point as the weakest John Wick enemy.
Yeah.
Because like it feels like she's trying to give off that sort of like theme of
Yeah.
like intimidating like
Yeah.
character. Sort of like I'm thinking of what was her name in John Wick 3?
Oh shit, 3.
Was it the Conduit or something like that? Or
I have no idea. I haven't seen it.
you should watch those.
You're not
videos.
thinking
Yeah,
of-
I know.
2, are you?
I just know there was like a
Not the one who kills herself, no.
no. There's this representative of the High Table.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know who you're talking about now.
yeah,
Yeah,
her. It feels like she was trying to do something like her, but like none of the gravitas,
Yeah.
none of the threatening nature.
Uh-huh. She just carries a briefcase occasionally.
Yeah.
That's it.
You have a warrant.
Uh,
First time Zenigata is like, oh, yeah, there's rules.
Senigata doesn't need rules. He's Senigata. He is the rules.
Give. It's like, no. Like,
Yes.
oh,
Very defeated.
come on. Because I like the moments where they kind of break that the boundary. Like if this was an animation, someone's like, I need a warrant, we'd be like, oh come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
But it just breaks that. No, this is like a live action.
Uh-huh.
They're gonna be like, you have a fucking warrant.
Yeah.
Being
Like,
grounded a
and-
bit more in reality.
In an
Yeah.
anime, if someone asked for the warrant when Zenigata asked him for the briefcase, he would have just had his goons dogpile him
Yeah.
Yeah.
and get the briefcase.
Get
Like,
him!
Get him!
Yeah, exactly.
It's Lupin!
That would have been the joke. Yeah,
Yeah.
he just says it's Lupin just to like get the guys to like, and then he just like walks away.
I'm so happy we got some classic like Lupin gags, revealing of the face,
Uh-huh.
the blow up dummies. I
Yeah.
was like,
With the
yes!
face.
With the actual
With
Lupin
their
face.
faces.
Yeah.
This is
cool.
a tiny thing I like. I like when if it's like a live action version of something. I always like it when it does a little nod to like
Yeah.
the original
Yes.
animation thing.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's silly, it's so stupid
Yeah.
silly. Like, how can you fall for that? I was like, just trust me. In
Yeah.
this universe, he has to.
It's like
the
when-
little spring in the necklace.
Yeah.
It just works.
During the quick like montage of like the 1 year later section, like
Yeah.
there's a part where Lupin steals something and puts the note in, and it's like an actual
Yeah.
note from like the manga or the anime where it's got his little character
Yeah,
design
yeah.
on it. So that yeah, there's a lot of little nice fan servicey things that they do.
The virus
The
that
virus.
happens.
Yeah.
It's like it's sort of a not anime Lupin.
Yeah.
It's like an animated version of this live action version.
Yeah.
And then there's the little note again with Zenigata at the end when he's
Yep.
like screwed him out of the necklace that looks cheap as fuck. But
Yeah.
Zenigata's
It
like,
looks
oh
so shit.
yeah.
I'm sorry. They just needed to like fake tarnish it, and I
Yeah.
would have been like, yeah, all for it.
Uh-huh.
It just looks so clay-like
Yeah.
and clean. And I'm like, you didn't dig this up.
Yeah.
In Egypt, you
This ain't
fucker.
shit.
It's like it's so expensive. I'm like, no, that's the decoy.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
no offense, that's the decoy.
I mean, it's the same with the medal at the beginning as
Yeah.
well. That
Yeah.
almost looks like a Mario coin.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Also, there's a shot where like Lupin like flips that medal, and like it's CG for some
yeah.
reason, and I
Yeah.
don't know why. But it's like the shot at the end where they're driving away in the Fiat is also like entirely CG, and I'm like, why are we doing that?
Yeah.
Like, why?
We couldn't afford an actual shot.
Couldn't get a helicopter and just drive up an expressway?
He got on the copter.
Yeah.
Twice, I think. So I think we can do that.
They can
Yeah.
afford copters.
Yeah.
You got Tadanobu Asano hanging out the side of a cop car with a not a foghorn, a megahorn,
Yeah.
just shouting down a street in Japan. Like, you can't get someone in a Fiat and drive up a road? Like, come on!
Come on.
We had a whole scene that was just randomly there when they like go on the helipad with like the helicopter, like the bad guys before the cube.
The Cube.
Why was that there? Established.
Just for them to
something.
shout.
Yeah.
Also, the second that like Mike's gang rocked up and they had Harlequin Lady, I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Fujiko's gonna fight her and it's
Yeah,
gonna be a thing.
the
We
gun
all know
squad.
that. Yeah,
Oh, you know that's fitting because for some reason the girl in that squad only fights in lingerie.
Yeah.
yeah.
Sorry, I could not think of like a funny joke when they rolled
No.
up because they look so wacky. They look like no one else in the movie. They're so out of place.
So- out of
I love Mohawk Man.
Yeah, that's like,
Yeah.
there needs to be a joke here for them. And I'm like, I couldn't land on anything other than the Goon Squad just rolled up.
Yeah.
The
and,
wacky
like,
racers.
I don't know how to feel about Mike in general.
Yeah.
Because like he's there to kind of drive us forward, and
Yeah.
then like, oh, but the problem is we don't know him.
Yeah.
And I get what they're doing. I get it all. He sacrifices himself and all that. I get it. I don't know if I like it.
He is
Yeah.
unfortunately the substitute for Lupin's woman of the movie,
Yeah, he is.
which has its drawbacks.
It does also have some weird sort of weird unintended tension
Yeah.
when he's like sacrificing himself. I was like, I feel like Lupin pulled him without even meaning to.
Yeah.
There's multiple moments where I basically do like the pride flag and the question mark and like the eyebrow meme.
Yeah.
It happened with Fujiko and the girl once before
Yeah.
the fight because
Yeah.
she's like spread out lingerie on her bed and I was like, huh?
And Fujiko's just got out of the bath too.
Also, isn't Lupin just sitting outside while that's happening?
Yes, he's just watching. He's just crouched by the window, and neither of them spot him.
No,
Somehow
they're just
also
like-
not creepy.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
the
just
way he
sitting
also
there.
stands up looks like he's pulling his trousers up at the same time.
Oh, okay, now it's creepy.
Yeah, I remember seeing that and going, I had to rewind and be like, he didn't just. No, he didn't. He's just adjusting.
He's just sitting there. That's pretty neat.
I just found it funny how after that bath sequence and we see like the lingerie girl, like Fujiko walks in. I was like, oh, I didn't know Fujiko went that way as well. I mean,
Yeah.
it makes sense.
That
I wouldn't
makes
be.
sense.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be too surprised, but still, huh?
Yeah,
It's a neat thing to add. And then they start fighting, and I was like, ah, okay.
yeah.
Lady fight.
The girls are fighting.
What a silly movie.
Yeah.
It's a Lupin.
It gives the classic Lupin feelings.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But mostly because fan service.
Yeah.
And just doing the little things, you know. Like, we all know how it's going. Oh, you only have 8 seconds. You'll never make it. Like, we know. We know.
That's so disappointing, that part though.
Yeah.
Because they just run down the corridor.
Yeah.
And that's
And
also.
Goemon spends so long.
Yeah.
Goemon ascended for this.
And that's the part where like I want to bring up the first again because I feel like Takashi Yamazaki watched this and was like, there's things in this I want to do a lot better.
Yeah.
Because the sequence in the first where it's basically the same thing
Yeah.
is so much more fun.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
way better with the theme.
It also comes down to like it has like the similar idea of like granddaddy Lupin and
Yeah.
current Lupin too, where like it feels more earned when he does that and puts the hat on than him
Yeah.
running down a corridor and then Primarch just sitting there and going, the legendary grandson of Arsene Lupin. I've heard the rumors, and I'm like,
He did
What?
He did a cool jump.
I'm like, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, just it's the problem of having the guys in the chair.
Yeah.
Makes so much of these moments feel a little unearned.
The guy that
It's-
shoots the satellite beam into the
Yeah.
key. What was all that about?
Yeah.
I'm
I've
sorry.
no
Fuck.
idea.
Yeah, I don't know even.
It's
I thought that they were gonna get like fucking annihilated by a planetary laser or something.
Same. I was like, I'm
Same.
firing my laser.
Because like suddenly it's like there's a shot of a satellite and I'm like, are we just escalating this like a way higher than
I'll be honest. At this point is when I started to sort of dip out. Of
Yeah.
like, so
Yeah.
I was like, did I miss a scene where they explained the fucking satellite?
I think it's also a problem with having a modern
Yeah.
Lupin where they have, just phones and shit,
Yeah.
like modern age phones.
The phones are so funny.
The glass phones?
Yeah, we're not
Because we
gonna-
can't get an iPhone or any other licensed
No.
smartphone.
Well, iPhones and even any Android phone at this point in time would have just been like a dinky little thing. Like they
Yeah.
hadn't reached, iPhone 16 Pro Max
Yeah.
things yet.
Yeah.
Where at least those are convincingly cool tech. Where here they would have been little,
the smaller
4.5 inch
3G.
3GS
Yeah.
or maybe an iPhone 4 or something.
Yeah, but like glass phones.
Yeah.
Because that's why
Yeah.
I think they kind of got stuck having to have a guy in the chair, maybe.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, of course they're going to have digital,
Yeah.
locks and shit. And so they
But you could have
unfortunately
put anything on Lupin's wrist.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
that
I
would've
would
been
have
so
found
much-
that more
Yeah,
because he always has a gadget watch.
Yeah, give him a
Yeah.
tiny little gadget that does the thing. Or
That's another thing. He has no gadgets in this movie.
I didn't notice, to be fair.
I noticed a little
Yeah.
bit, but like I took that as another sign of live action. Maybe they
Yeah,
wanted to make
but
it
like
Yeah.
easy.
fucking Bond has gadgets, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, he had the Malibu.
What, the fucking pinky's worth of explosive that somehow doesn't completely eviscerate Mike's body when he uses all of it?
Can I state as well? And when they were gonna show his body, I would have really laughed. It was like the Family Guy death pose.
It was already outlined. in the
Yeah,
movie.
I was so
Yeah.
ready for it almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, that is just the thing film-wise. Like, tonally, they couldn't have shown,
Yeah.
certain things.
It would have been suddenly a very different movie if they showed his blood and guts everywhere. So
He
you know.
needed to at least be slumped up against the wall, because he would have gotten flung.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like they mentioned the shockwave killing them, so like, yeah, he would have been like the other end of the room.
At least against the fucking...
Yeah.
He was just laying on his back. It's just, I'm gonna take a nap.
Yeah.
I'm a sleepy.
Yeah. And unfortunately, because we only meet Mike in this, there's not much of an emotional impact. We're
Yeah.
like, this needed to happen. We all knew it was gonna
Well, it's
happen.
like when they killed Dawson off at the start of the movie.
Yeah.
It's done like so. This is a big emotional moment. There's close-ups of everyone's face. They're devastated, and I'm like, I just met him like one scene ago.
I didn't even know
Don't give a shit.
I didn't even know Lupin had an uncle outside of, I don't know,
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
thanks for
one
shit.
TV, Dragon of Doom, I think it was, where he had an
Yeah.
uncle that also died immediately,
Uh-huh.
like right after. Man, don't be a Lupin's uncle, you die immediately.
Yeah. God, the uncle effect,
Yeah.
It's not great.
No.
Also, I pointed this out to Shaun, but like all of the place text and on-screen text is in English, right?
Mhm.
But then there's also subtitles in Japanese
I'm sorry.
on the side or
Yeah.
like at the bottom. This movie was for a Japanese market.
Mm-hmm.
Why are all the place cards in English? They go to Japan
Ooh.
and it says Japan. They go to Hong Kong and it says Hong Kong. We get subtitles that say Nihon and then whatever
Yeah,
Hong
yeah,
Kong
yeah.
is in Japanese. Why are they not in Japanese? Like, surely that would make more sense.
100% agree. I think it's probably to give it that blockbuster feel.
Maybe,
Yeah.
yeah. Like,
Where,
because
you know,
I don't know what
yeah.
the intention was. Like, was this intended to go, outside Japan and be like a bigger,
Yeah.
Lupin thing? But I just found it really funny where I'm like, there's clearly no clean master,
No.
where there's no Japanese subtitles for it. So maybe they didn't intend to put it outside Japan, but equally everything's in English. So I
It's-
don't get it.
That is strange.
Yeah.
I didn't notice.
No, it was like
I didn't
halfway
think
through the
either.
movie
No.
where I was
Yeah.
like, it came up with Japan and it says Nihon on screen in kanji, and I'm like, what are we doing here?
I mean,
What's going on?
I didn't notice either until you pointed it out, and
Yeah.
I was just like, that's a good point, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, fascinating.
Also, you've just reminded me of like something where they don't go to Hong Kong; they go to the stock footage of Hong Kong
Yes.
that they grab
Yeah.
for
Yeah, of
the
course.
title because it is such lower quality
Uh-huh.
than every other
Yeah.
establishing
Yup.
shot. I couldn't help but notice that, and now I wanted to bring it into the episode.
Yeah, that police department that they go to is probably just like some side street in Tokyo.
I also think it might have been CGI'd over it a little bit,
Oh yeah,
just for like
for
maybe the logo.
sure.
Uh-huh.
It didn't look
Yeah,
real.
yeah,
yeah, no, 100%. Probably went to Ginza or something like that. I
Probably,
just found
yeah.
one building that was like, it's vaguely Hong Kong enough.
Yeah.
I'm looking if there's anything else worth noting.
I'm
but
trying to
I
think of like stuff I say. I liked I liked the sudden horror scene of the Mohawk guy being cut in half.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, they cut away for it just in
Yeah, but like
and
Yeah.
you
the
still
camera
see,
work. Oh,
that's like straight up a Resident Evil death
Yeah.
though.
yeah.
Just with the
Beautiful.
blood
Mhm.
coming
Just
up
the
and like
perfect slice.
Yeah.
and like the vision just like doing that. That was
Uh-huh.
cool.
Yeah. It works though.
yeah,
it
oh,
works,
100%.
But it is a bit of a slight tonal shift.
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes you out of it. I mean, you know, we always know how it's gonna end. You're gonna have everyone has their opposite.
Uh-huh.
We know girl.
Yeah.
We
We got
have
gun
knife,
guy.
knife.
Yeah.
Knife and gun.
that guy. One of my favorite lines in the whole movie.
So I gotta respect him, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His skill with the blade.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things to me where it's like we all see it coming, but it's a satisfaction
Yeah.
thing where you're like, yeah, come on, we're gonna get gun versus gun,
Yeah.
knife versus knife, because otherwise it's unfair.
Uh-huh.
So it's sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Is Jigen shooting a trigger not very
It's very Jigen. It's just
Yeah.
not very
live action?
live action. Yeah.
Shooting a gun
100%.
to have that gun shoot another guy.
Yeah, which is like in the anime, I feel like they would have contrived it a bit better, where
Yeah.
like he has to do that, whereas he could have just got a clean shot on him anyway.
Yeah, like his neck and head
Yeah.
were fully exposed.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
At least just
Yeah.
shoot the gun to kill him or something like that. I feel like they could have pulled that off. Like
Yeah.
actually just shoot the gun he's holding. Like he's got a grenade launcher,
Yeah.
so just
I mean, don't forget the great scene where Goemon just slices a bunch of guns in.
that's true.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
I was living for.
the
I was like,
action of this movie's so 50-50 though.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's either
100%.
really cool or like, oh,
A bit wonky.
yeah.
But it's Lupin, so you kind of forgive it. in a
Yeah.
way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It fits.
Yeah.
I
What
feel
a
like they should have
journey.
gone more wacky with the gun and guns thing. They
Mhm.
should have had it ricochet off like 50 different
Yeah.
things before it hit the gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's, yeah.
Yeah, like Jigen shoots right in front of him and it goes choo, choo, choo,
Yeah.
choo, and we see every shot of it
Uh-huh.
doing that, and then it hits the gun.
I feel like where they were needed to have more like debris and stuff like covering the place rather than
Yeah.
just like a big open space.
Yeah.
And Jigen's conveniently standing behind the one bit of cover.
Yeah.
Because that's
It was
what
reserved for him.
Yes. It's the only thing that makes him shooting the trigger to shoot the gun
Mm-hmm.
a little unbelievable in this
Yeah.
context. Because like
Yeah.
you
Or
But
could have
just
just
not like interesting enough to be
Yeah.
like fun, unbelievable.
because you're watching that and you're going, he's enough of a quick shot that he could have just flicked round
Yeah,
and that's
Yeah.
it.
that guy should be dead by now.
Yeah. But no, he shoots the gun to shoot the guy.
10 centimeters to the right.
Yeah.
And the thing, if you hear
10 centimeters is a lot.
I know,
Like,
he says that and
that's-
I'm like, dude, that's still a lot.
Yeah.
Your arm is still cut off.
Yeah.
and like bullets go fast, but surely the other guy has the reflex to at least move from his current position.
Yeah.
No.
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 Gotta be like Space Invaders, shoot where they're gonna be.
Yeah.
I anticipated this movie.
I mean, that's a very Jigen thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Is it a very Jigen live action thing?
Well,
Mm.
speaking of Jigen live action,
Oh,
there's actually a
yeah.
spin-off of this with the same actor called Jigen. Is it Daisuke Jigen? Jigen Daisuke. On Amazon Prime. It's like a full
Ooh.
movie spin-off about his Jigen.
About his Jigen.
About his Jigen.
About this Jigen from
Yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
movie.
no, his
That came
personal
out
Jigen.
2 years ago.
Oh.
It's like 9 years after, which
Nice.
is crazy. The only sequel thing that we ever really got, sadly.
Yeah,
Oh.
I would have. I wish they would have made like a trilogy out
Yeah.
of this.
Yeah,
It would have been
same.
fun.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Well, that's something interesting. I would be up for watching.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I want to add it to the list of stuff that we might cover.
To the list.
Possibly next time.
We'll see.
We'll
see.
see.
We're gonna get to Cure before we get to anything else. Like we're slowly working through a short list of stuff that I made
Yeah.
for live action, and like Cure has made its way to the bottom.
You
Somehow.
you really want us to watch it, but
Really-
both me and Melina are like, let's not.
Yeah,
Oh, Lupin!
you guys
Yeah.
know exactly fuck all about the movie, and yet you keep just going.
We keep seeing more interesting
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, you keep like, or we do this.
You threw us Battle Royale the first
Yeah.
time.
Oh, I knew that Battle Royale was gonna be the one that got picked that
Yeah.
time, and then
But
I
then
was.
you threw Lupin at us.
I had Lupin.
No.
I did. I put the Lupin live action all the way at the bottom of the Lupin list,
And we still saw it.
and you still saw it.
Okay, Melina still saw it, I think. I don't think I saw it, so.
Ah, It's a hard movie to score. I'm just thinking about it.
Yeah, I again, like, was it Riding Me? Yeah, Riding Me. I have like on a Lupin fan level score, and then like an actual like critical.
Yeah, that's what I said to you
Yeah.
like last night. I was like, as an actual film for itself, I can't really give this more than like a maybe 5 or like a 6. Right, so as a Lupin fan, 8.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think as a Lupin film, like maybe a 7.5. I think it's
Yeah.
fun, but because of the origin stuff and like, it's still trying to find its footing for what this version of the characters are. So it kind of loses some points in that regard, because I think, like I said, I think it could have been zanier.
Yeah.
And just maybe a little bit more focused, because I feel like it bounces around a little too much of like trying to find Mike, and then Mike comes back, and then now they're trying to break into the arc, and so yeah. But on like a critical level, yeah, it's like a 6. There's a lot of heart to the production, but technically it falls apart a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Which is weird, because odd comparison, the only other Ryuhei Kitamura film I've seen is Godzilla Final Wars. And that's actually, on a technical level, better. Also, the English is far more convincing in that movie. And they just have people talking to each other in English and in Japanese like they know what they're saying. With no explanation.
It's just that kind of
It's
movie.
just that kind of movie. But yeah, no, I think like 6 on a critical level and like a 7.5 on a
That's fair.
enjoyment level. It is too long though.
Oh,
It is far too
absolutely.
long,
Yeah. I think I would give it a good 6.5. It just needs to, like, I would give it a 7 if it was shorter. It just, I think the whole year of them preparing just...
Yeah, just to sort of feel like we've come back at the same point.
Yeah.
Because nothing's really moved forward by that point. Like,
Exactly.
we're meant to interpret that, like, Jigen and Lupin are closer. But, like, maybe this is just because we're all more familiar with Lupin. Like, I don't think they needed to do that.
No, not at all. And the cube. We're cutting the
The
cube.
cube. Cut the cube.
Yeah.
Cut the cube.
Cubeless.
Cubeless.
That can all be done. 2-minute scene on a rooftop.
Yep.
Yeah.
All done.
Rejig the arc a little bit, like the break-in
Yeah.
sequence and stuff. Maybe make the run down the hallway a little more interesting.
Yes.
You know, pull in a stunt team, do some shit. You had that whole part at the beginning where the guy's fucking kicking around under the lasers and
I
shit.
loved him sliding
Yeah.
under the lasers like it was made he was on an ice rink.
Yeah, and then you just have them run down a hallway at the end.
Which is perfectly timed, you see.
Yeah, but perfectly tight.
Yeah, it's a stupid idea.
Yeah. Anyway.
Goemon left this plane
beautiful.
of reality for this.
He saw Nordic runes for
Yeah.
this.
He saw the end of days and the beginning of a new.
And heard the beating of the drum. Sorry.
We're losing it. Welcome.
Bye bye.
We'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.